the finger of death that freezes everything it touches, Earth's great seasons. Deep beneath the frozen landscapes of our polar oceans, a terrifying and awe-inspiring natural phenomenon occurs, an icy finger of death that freezes everything in its path. Known as the brinicle, this rare underwater event forms when cold, salty brine descends from sea ice, creating a finger-like column of ice that destroys marine life below. As part of Earth's seasonal shifts, brinicles are both a stunning and deadly feature of our planet's extreme environments. What is a brinicle? The brinicle, sometimes called the ice finger of death, is a phenomenon that occurs in polar regions like the Arctic and Antarctic during the winter months. It forms under sea ice when extremely cold, salty water, known as brine, seeps out of the sea ice and sinks toward the ocean floor. As the dense brine makes contact with warmer water, it rapidly freezes, creating a hollow tube of ice that extends downward, much like a finger reaching into the depths. While the brinicle itself is a mesmerizing sight, its true danger lies in the fact that everything it touches is rapidly frozen. The brinicle is known to freeze starfish, sea urchins, and other slow-moving sea creatures that cross its icy path. The marine organisms are encased in a sudden sheath of ice, often resulting in death. How does the brinicle form? Brinicles are a product of complex interactions between water temperature, salinity, and density. Here's how they form. Cold air meets sea ice. In polar regions, extremely cold air chills the surface of the ocean, forming sea ice. The freezing process pushes out salt from the forming ice, leaving behind pockets of dense, salty brine trapped within the sea ice. Brine seepage. Over time, this brine slowly drains from the sea ice, trickling down through cracks and gaps. Since the brine is much colder and denser than the surrounding seawater, it sinks toward the ocean floor. Formation of the ice tube. As the brine sinks, it cools the surrounding water to below freezing, creating a thin sheath of ice around the descending brine. This sheath forms the characteristic hollow, tubular shape of a brinicle. Spreading death zone. As the brinicle reaches the ocean floor, it continues spreading outward, freezing the water around it. Any marine life that happens to be in its path, especially slow-moving creatures like starfish and sponges, is rapidly frozen in place. Where do brinicles form? Brinicles are most commonly observed in the Antarctic region, where the frigid temperatures create ideal conditions for sea ice formation. The extreme cold of the polar winter, combined with the unique properties of the brine expelled from the sea ice, leads to the perfect environment for brinicle formation. While brinicles have been documented in the Arctic, the phenomenon is more frequently associated with the southern oceans surrounding Antarctica. This is partly due to the relatively stable conditions beneath Antarctic sea ice, which allows for the prolonged development of the brinicle without being disturbed by ocean currents. The role of Earth's great seasons. Brinicles are closely tied to the seasonal cycles of our planet. During the polar winter, temperatures drop dramatically, creating the necessary conditions for sea ice to form. As part of Earth's great seasonal shifts, the formation and melting of sea ice in polar regions play a critical role in regulating the planet's climate and ocean currents. The creation of brinicles highlights the fascinating and sometimes dangerous consequences of these seasonal changes. While much of Earth's seasonal transformations are familiar to us, shifts in weather, animal migrations, and changes in plant life, the brinicle is an extreme and rare example of how Earth's seasons can create dramatic and deadly natural phenomena in remote environments. The frozen graveyard of marine life. For marine life in the path of a brinicle, survival is almost impossible. The creatures that inhabit the ocean floor beneath sea ice often have no warning of the approaching ice finger. Once frozen, the marine organisms become encased in ice and quickly perish. One of the most famous recordings of this deadly phenomenon was captured by the BBC's Frozen Planet series in 2011, where the camera team documented a brinicle forming and freezing everything in its path. The chilling footage showed starfish and sea urchins falling victim to the deadly freeze, unable to escape the icy grasp of the brinicle. Can the brinicle impact the larger ecosystem? While brinicles are a rare event, they provide a glimpse into the delicate balance of life in Earth's polar regions. The formation of brinicles and the death they bring to marine organisms is a reminder of how vulnerable life in extreme environments can be. However, the impact of brinicles on larger ecosystems is likely limited due to their rarity and relatively small size compared to the vast ocean. Still, brinicles contribute to the complex web of interactions that shape the marine ecosystem in the polar regions. The frozen marine life left behind by brinicles may become a source of food for scavengers once the ice melts, illustrating how even the most deadly natural events can play a role in the cycle of life in these harsh environments. Conclusion: the finger of death is one of the most dramatic natural phenomena found on Earth. The brinicle's deadly descent through polar waters is a testament to the extreme conditions that exist in Earth's frozen regions. As part of the great seasonal shifts that define life on Earth, brinicles are both beautiful and terrifying, reminding us of the awe-inspiring and sometimes lethal forces of nature at work beneath the surface of our planet.